want to make sure that I can build this brand, but not hurt myself by doing it. Like, so I see some people, and which I think is great. They may put it out there on out to Target, and all these different, bigger supermarket chains and all that, and be able to, have thousands. I'm not at the point where I'm doing like such a mass production. So right now it works for me. I know how many bottles I can produce every single month. I know how to get it out there to vendor events and online. It works for me.
You're listening to Honey and Hustle, a video podcast that inspires the dreamers, creators, and hustlers to make a business from their passions. I'm Angela Hollowell, and I'm a visual storyteller based in Durham, North Carolina. I sit down with creative entrepreneurs, nonprofit founders, and small business owners as they share their stories, the lessons they've learned throughout their careers, and how they've worked to make a positive impact.
Hey everyone, welcome to this episode of Honey and Hustle. I am your host, Angela Hollowell, and I'm here today with Charles Freeman, who is the founder of Black Cap Ginger. Charles, thank you so much for joining me here today.
Thanks for having me, Angela. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. So you are actually the second blended juice maker that we've had on the show. And as I've asked Blend of Soul, I really want to pose this question to you as well. What got you interested in nutrition, and specifically, why did you pursue that through a blended juice and not maybe specifically food or being a chef or catering or things like that?
Well, that's a great question, and I guess it's kind of like a funny story somewhat. My background is actually training and development. I have no beverage experience whatsoever. But my mother has been making ginger brew drinks for years, and she gave me the recipe in 2018. At the time, I really felt like I didn't have time to focus on it. But then COVID came in 2020, and I had people asking me like, "Hey, I remember that ginger drink you used to make. Can you make me some?" And so I did. And it was like in making it, and started to realize that people were really interested in it. I just started to dig and learn more about ginger. Now, at the time, I was probably getting in the best shape of my life, because there wasn't much to do in regards to COVID besides exercise, at least for me. So I was just exercising. I was a plant-based diet, and then here comes a ginger brew drink.
Okay, so it sounds like a little bit of your personal journey with fitness, but also your community kind of sharing that love with other people. So when did it move beyond just like friends and family saying, "Hey, I know about this thing that you do. Can you do it for me?" And you saying, maybe I should bottle this up and sell it.
Yeah, and that was the thing. So when that friend reached out to me and he said he wanted 3 gallons of ginger brew, and because he was like one of the few people in my church that I would like test it out with. So he said, "Let me get 3 gallons," and I was like, "Man, okay." And I'd never done that much before. When I made it, it ended up with 4 gallons, and so I just sought the Lord. I said, "Lord, what do I do with this last gallon?" I could drink it myself because I enjoy it, and he just said, "Put it out there on Facebook," and I just shared the story. I just told him how it's been the family business it's been in the family for quite some time, a family recipe. My mom gave it to me, and I just put it out there and shared the benefits of ginger. And when I say it's like right on time, because like I said, I was kind of struggling financially a little bit, so I put it out there to people, and within 1 month, I had about 20 orders for a gallon of ginger brew. And I was like, man, I might have something here. And then there's one other customer. She purchased like a 3-pack of a 12-ounce of like spicy sweet, which is the original blend. And she bought it. She loved it, and she shared it with all her friends online. And the next thing, they were like, "Where's the website? I'm not buying anything unless there's a website." So overnight, I created a website, and it started to take off.
Okay, okay. Sounds like
Yeah.
just a wildfire type of product, and we love that. And I think you're right. It can just be mind blowing how people like pick up on things so quickly. Off of a really good review or somebody else's really good experience with something. Can you talk to
Mhm.
me? So you said you made the website overnight, which in itself, a lot of people struggle with just that part. Like, how do I make a website? Where do I make
Mhm.
a website? What do I put on the website? How do I handle shipping and all that type of stuff? Like for you,
Yeah.
the barrier to entry was like, obviously you've gotten better over time and perfected over time, but what was it like just starting out and saying, okay, like I'm gonna make a website? Had you made a website before? Like, were you prepared to invest that kind
Um,
of time and money so quickly?
I went to Wix. I went to I went to Wix.com. I just kept reading different ways to set up a website that can accept had a POS set up. Um, I looked at all the different templates of different beverages and was like, okay, I'll utilize that. At the time, I didn't really have any professional photos of the drinks, so I just took some pictures. I tried to get really good lighting, and I just took a picture of some of the bottles, and I put it out there. I was like, okay, let's see what happens. Over time, what I've done is like I still have a Wix account. The photos are a little bit better looking. So I have some family members that take some really good shots, uh, and I've just been building it from there. For me, it's I've come across this like on I guess like a grassroots type of approach. I'm looking to I want to make sure that I can build this brand, but not hurt myself by doing it. Like so I see some people and which I think is great. They may put it out there on Target, out to Target, and all these different bigger supermarket chains and all that, and be able to have thousands. I'm not at the point where I'm doing like such a mass production. So right now it works for me. I know how many bottles I can produce every single month. I know how to get it out there to vendor events and online. Um, it works for me. You know.
Okay. If you don't mind me asking, are you still working a full-time job and doing Black Cap Ginger, or are you at a place where Black Cap Ginger is your sole source of income?
I do have a full time job, and it's I guess it's like a seesaw with it because I guess maybe it's like a catch 22. I have a comfortable income in the job that I work with, and so I want to put myself in a position where Black Cap is going to cover me to a point where it would be comfortable to step away. So I go back and I juggle the two because I enjoy the work. Enjoy the work that I do in learning and development, but I also am passionate about making drinks and putting a drink together and letting people taste it and they enjoy it and seeing like the impact of how it's changing their lives from a health standpoint. So it's I enjoy both,
Yeah, I
honestly.
appreciate you sharing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think sometimes what people underestimate, and the reason why I ask that is because sometimes, like you said, you kind of started on a whim. Like this wasn't a
Mhm.
planned thing. And sometimes
Right.
I think, when people are like, oh, I got something on my hands, let me drop everything and put all my energy towards this new venture. What they fail
Mhm.
to realize is sometimes the best thing for your small business is to have a job, like straight up. Because,
Yep.
like,
Yeah.
it costs so much at the beginning. You have to invest so much in
Yeah.
the
Because there's a.
beginning. And if you have income already, it's less stressful for
Mhm.
you to have to worry about all the different places your money is going when you know you have one dependable, like
Right.
sustainable, solid source versus, entrepreneurship. As you've
Mhm.
already seen, it's like up and down. Some months are better than others.
Mhm.
And then, there's always something that's going to break and need fixing, or, you got to account for this change or something. So it can be
Yeah.
difficult to find that stability super early on when you're still learning, like you just said. Um,
Yeah. I'm learning entrepreneurship. I have a lot of family members who started their own businesses, and some have been very successful at it. Um, for me, I've started other businesses and wasn't successful at all. So I would say Black Cap is the first time that I've started something from the ground up, and it's self sustaining. And so I think that's a blessing for for me and for Black Hat is that while I have a full time job, uh, Black Hat doesn't rely on my full time job in order to live, in order to exist, in order to operate. And so it's for me, it's part of that starting small and being okay with being small for the moment, so that I'm not messing with the house money.
The house. I like that. All right. Another question here, I mean, obviously I have questions, but going back to two things you said. So this came from your mom, and you've
Mhm.
had like this family history of entrepreneurship that you can kind of glean from and learn from. When it comes to family recipes, number one, sometimes people just don't want to share that for obvious reasons, right? But when you're producing a juice that you claim
Right.
has, can help people and can be really healthy for people. How did you find that balance between like, yeah, I know this is sacred, I know this has helped me, but I really want to demonstrate the benefits to other people?
Before we started, my mom said, "Don't share this with anyone," and so that's been interesting because even in knowing that eventually we're going to take it to the next level of maybe having it processed in the factories and stuff like that. That somebody's going to have to see the recipe and in order for us to become scalable. But with it overall, even putting the ingredients on the bottle, it was like a negotiation with my mother. Even though she gave me the recipe, she's part of the business. She helped with the original startup, the thought process, but before it became Black Cat, when it was just something that we were just talking about, but never came to fruition. Um, but the fact of the matter is it's all natural, right? So there's nothing in it that's artificial. It's ginger root, it's lime, it's cloves, it's pure organic cane sugar and purified water. You know, and and then you have some different ingredients depending on the flavor of the drink. Um, but it's good for your overall health. It's a natural medicine. So so with it, understanding that this is it's a family recipe, but coming from a family of entrepreneurs is like, okay, we have something that's ours, so let's go out there and let's get it into the marketplace. Let's share it, and let's go ahead and trademark it as well.
This episode was made possible with SavvyCal. Scheduling meetings manually can be so time consuming, and scheduled video podcast interviews is no different. From making sure all your guests have the correct meeting link to following up with next steps, the list of emails goes on. But what if you could streamline this process? With SavvyCal, you can. Take the stress out of your scheduling workflows with customizable reminders, the ability to sync multiple calendars, and more at the link in the description. All right, let's get back to today's guest.
Okay, smart. I like that legal protection you got going there.
Mm-hmm.
The most important thing. Um,
That's good.
when it comes to, like you said, you're thinking about, okay, if I know that I want to take this to the next step, or may at some point, I may want to, sell this wholesale. At some point,
Mm-hmm.
I may have other people that we bring into the business so that I'm not the only one that's like on the front lines of this business.
Mm-hmm.
What does that look like for you in terms of really growing that trust with other outside partners?
Um, haven't explored it thoroughly yet. And I think part of that is because, like, okay, I want to keep this for me right now. Right now, we are when I say we, my wife and my daughter, we run Black Cap right now. I'm the brewmaster. I'm the person of many hats, and my wife does she does the merch. She does that, and my daughter is a the super salesperson when we go out and do event events, and when she's out and about in the city, she's the one connecting us to different businesses to negotiate with. Definitely in the future, I mean, right now we're like in one store here in Raleigh, North Carolina, which is a black-owned nutrition shop. So it's a good partnership. Um, but going forward, want to get to the point where we're in more stores, where it's making it, it's all about location, location, location. So as we're able to get in more locations, it makes a difference. I've pretty much I guess the of sharing the product with other people, of allowing them to wholesale it. I sell it to them wholesale, and they're out as like pretty much as distributors. I've kind of kept it just really close to friends and close friends and family members. If they're interested, I say, hey, here it is. Here's a wholesale amount. You take it to your market, and here's what I sell it for. But whatever it is in your market, you go with it. And so I've been able to test it out in New Jersey, where I'm from, and working on some other areas where there are other family members.
Okay, nice. Looks like you've gotten into a lot of different markets. Like you said, location is super important. And
Mhm.
even on, for this to essentially be a business of four, you, your wife, your daughter, and your mom, like that's still a pretty big reach. And it's allowed you to test, the product in different markets. When you are testing, like what are some of the markers of feedback that you're looking for from either people that you are wholesaling to or the consumers? Like how do you kind of like get that feedback that helps you, make the product better, make your packaging better, all that type of stuff?
Yeah. Really, and I just ask them what do they think about the drinks, how do they like the flavor, and is it too sweet? Is it not sweet enough? Is it enough ginger content in there for them? Really, I mean that's how the majority of the flavors came into the mix. So we have 6 flavors, but I would say about 4 of the 6 came from speaking to consumers and seeing exactly what they like and dislike. Um, in regards to the packaging, I just get people to let me know, like, hey, this is what I like about it, or once again, they'll ask, hey, because I think the original version of the bottles didn't have the ingredients on there. Even right now, there's no nutritional facts on there. So that's the next level. Make sure I putting that on the bottles. Um, but yeah, that's been really it. Is just speaking to people when I send out the bottles, especially when it's a new customer, regardless of where they are. I'll ask them for feedback. I'll encourage them to share their provide some feedback on Instagram. So on IG regularly, people tag me with the different bottles and where they are, just living with black cap. I call it black capping. And so I'll share it on the website, and share it on the website, share it on IG, and encourage other people to black cap with us and drink more ginger.
I love that. I love that. That's so funny.
Mhm.
All right. All right. So now as we talk, you just mentioned social media. So I do want to touch on that a bit because again, you started from
Mhm.
word of mouth, right? And now you have,
Correct.
a whole crew black capping with you guys.
Mhm.
So how did that kind of come about? Like how are you seeing the response to on Instagram to this movement that you have now around this juice?
Things been pretty steady. It's been pretty steady. I will admit, even though I've been on social media for quite some time, I'm not the ultimate marketer on social media. So I would say we're doing okay, but we're doing what we can and getting the word out. It's been a blessing. We have like a brand ambassador now, so she understands the power of video, and so it's Ty Caldwell. She's out there helping us push the brand. So it's been coming along, but really, because between community vending events, community events, and online sales is really how we push it out. And so a lot of the sales comes through Instagram. It started off with Facebook, but then I shifted more to Instagram, realizing it's just a better platform. It's really begun to pick up from there.
Yeah, that's awesome. When you say that you sell on Instagram and a lot of your sales come from Instagram, do you sell natively on the platform or do you move people to your website from Instagram?
I'm moving to the website. Yeah, I'm moving to the website so they can
Okay.
see everything. Yeah, that's probably
Okay.
because I don't know
Yeah.
how to
I
do
was just asking.
that.
That's okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I just asked because I know like that's what Instagram is pushing. They're trying to get more people to like
Mhm.
sell their products natively on like the shop versus like getting them off the platform. They're trying to keep you on there as long as possible. And I'm not
Right.
gonna lie, I bought a couple things from Instagram shop.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, why not use it, right?
They got me. It's fine.
Yeah, there's nothing
Yeah.
wrong with that. You know, a lot of us are owned. Amazon owns us. You know, so why not? Why not on Instagram too?
You're right.
Right?
Everybody can own this.
What's it all
Oh
about?
man.
We produce and we consume.
Unfortunately.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So going back to your family history of entrepreneurship and then even your own previous
mm,
experiences with entrepreneurship, when you were like, okay, like I'm selling, I have demand, I see that I have demand, what were some of the experiences that you took from your previous experiences that you brought into this one? Like, yeah, I don't want to make that mistake again. And what were
mm,
some other experiences that you saw other people had? They were like, yeah, I see that's worked for them. I want to try and see if that can work for me.
yeah. Well, I think from the onset is I think number one is having a product or service that you believe in, that you can stand behind, that you're passionate about. And I say that because I've done a lot of network marketing, and I won't throw any names out there, but I've done a lot of network marketing where it's about building a team and selling a product or service, and I was passionate about the opportunities to really make some good money. But I can't say I was passionate about the products that were available. I've started businesses where I started like a home audio video automation company. One of my cousins he was doing extremely well with it, and he was looking to scale his business. And I have a computers background, so I was like, okay, yeah, I could do this. And I got into it, but I wasn't passionate about it. I was just trying to like duplicate his system. That could work for some people, but for me, I realized, man, I want something that I know I can stand behind. I can really make it my own, and put my blood, sweat, and tears in it, and to see it grow. So being passionate about it. Passion means a lot, but then also taking the steps to learn about, okay, what does it take to build this business. Um, so that was the first thing, but then also, learning some of the techniques. Like I realized, okay, I had to build a website. I had to start off with an actual LLC. I need to make sure I got my bookkeeping in order. These are all things that that's a part. That's all that administration, that bookkeeping is an important aspect of the business. I got to be able to report my taxes at the end of the year, and I need to make sure everything's legit. Um, coming up with the labels and all those things, like it's time consuming, but it's so worth it because you're strengthening your brand. So everything I do, I recognize, man, this is about my brand. Okay, having some t-shirts, having some merch. Okay, this is about pushing the brand. Everything is to push the brand out, to let people know that, man, we're a company. We're trying to be as polished as possible. Even down to the logo. The goal is like to give it something with a nice, clean, simple design. Um, you know, I think I realize. I thank you very much. I just realized I've been so blessed in that the person who helped me come up with the logo was a good friend of mine. He's he he leads a marketing firm, and he's just like, hey, look, you want something that people will remember, something that that represents you, but it's like no matter what, they'll remember Black Hat. And so that's how we came along, and he came up with the design, and we're able to run with that. Um, Hopefully, I answered your question.
No, you did. You did. And now I have to ask, what is the
Mhm.
meaning behind the name Black Cap? Because I feel like you keep harping on the name and its significance. So
Yeah,
now I have to know.
sure. Well, and okay, so the simple thing of Black Hat is because and I never shared this with anyone outside of my family, but here we are. Um, yeah, right. Just for you, Angela, and Honey and Hustle. Um, because this is something that my mom and my sister used to sit down and talk about, but it was just things we were talking about of launching a business one day. Originally, we were trying to come up with something that falls in line with my background. So my background is I'm first generation American Liberian. So my mom is Liberian, West Africa. That's what the recipe is based from. And so with it, we're looking for like a Liberian term that represents man and health. And so the name we came up with was like Numanji, and it was like, oh, that's gonna be it, Numanji. And then sitting down with my friend, and he's like, that sounds like Jumanji, and that's not a good name. You don't want that. And I was like, oh, okay, all right. So I said, well, what should we do? And he's like, he said, what do you want people to remember when they look at your bottle? I said, I want them to remember that we make some good ginger drink in there. That it's a phenomenal tasting drink that's not only good for you, but it tastes delicious. Because when it comes to ginger, there's some drinks that just don't taste good, even though we know it's good for you, right? And so that's the two goals. I want to make sure it's good for you, but it also tastes darn good. So he said, okay, well, so looking at the bottle, then what do you want it to be? I said, well, we got a black cap on it. And he's like, so I'll just call it Black Cap. I said, that sounds right. I'm black. It's called Black Cap. That's it. Nothing deeper than that.
That's hilarious. I love it. And sometimes it can be that simple. Sometimes it should be that simple. Most times it should be that simple, honestly. Well, you know what? I can't keep spilling all the secrets here. If you guys want to taste Black Cap Ginger, you're going to have to try it out for yourself. I'm going to leave that link in the description for you guys. And Charles, thank you so much for joining me today on the show.
Thank you for your time. I truly appreciate it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.